Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Friday, the 2nd of December. Before we get started, want to apologize for the background noise. Got some work going on around me and can't really do anything about it. So let's get started. Pause your players here. Read to the bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today. Overall market models have all flipped bullish. Day 2 of the short term. Intermediate term is on day 1. Long term, it is continuing long with the ribbon. For those of you who have been with us, you know what that is. The slopes are in an uptrend. All of this is constructive for the bulls. Obviously, we've been in a market where the ribbon has been flat, which indicates choppiness, and it indicates the ability to reverse at a moment's notice. Keep that in mind. For the total SPX complex, the right goalpost remains at 4100, which is plus GEX. Minus GEX, which is the dominant negative or put expiry, is shifted upward from 36 to 3800. This is notable. This is bullish overall because we're seeing the entire structure shift upward. That is good. Upside target for the near term, 4145, which is coincidentally the JPM January strike. Why we think this is an upside target, could happen today, could happen next week, is that it has a coincident negative delta and negative gamma. And for those of you who know how we do this, that is an area that the dealers would have minimal pressure if they wanted to park in an overnight situation. So that being said, we do think that is the near-term upside target, so just under the 4150 strike. Transition zones in the various complexes and combo are very much intact and strong. So we're looking at 3950, 3995, 4005, and 4045 as those inside numbers. The upside numbers, 4030, 4050, 4060, and 4020 would all be candidates for the transition zones, and where they overlap is remarkably good, and we are very confident that we're probably going to stay in this area, confident in that a drop below that will shift us out of this regime we're in, and that is not going to happen very quickly, barring any news events or the non-farm and things like that today. That being said, we are watchful of this 4140, 4150. It appears here, also appears in the combo complex. That's a big deal. A little closer in, 4085, 4095 is something that we're watching. This is the 1 DTE. This is our projection of where we start Monday. So it does not obviously take into account today's volume in the SPXP. But what it does tell us is that there is a pocket sitting in this area just underneath that 4100 line, which is the plus GEX, which would be a natural area for us to park into the weekend. So be aware of that. Of course, always trade safe, manage your risk. Taking a look at the market model, as I said, day 1, day 2, this is the short term. We are continuing upward. The intermediate term has the bolded cumulative tick above the ribbon. That is constructive for the bulls, and it shows progression. The progression is intact. And then 3, the ribbon slopes are now starting to turn in an upturn, and that too is very important for the long term. And you can see the red, which is the faster moving average, is above the cyan, which is the slower moving average. And while that happens, we'll start getting this expansion, and that expansion is constructive for the bulls. Highlighted this yesterday, updated it this morning. We did break on the VVIX VIX relationship here, and so what this basically says is this trend has been violated. You can see, just looking at the coincident time frames, there is a shift, and magnitudes may also shift. I mean, we have the benefit of hindsight looking backwards here, but the key takeaway is that we're going to be watching this pretty carefully and seeing if we do resume the uptrend. Now, down here on the SPX, you've got this continue downtrend where we're making lower highs, and you can see we're right in that area from yesterday's action. It's going to be very interesting to see if we do pull back and head down, or if we break this in the regime change and continue north. We'll have to pay attention here. But as far as I'm concerned, something has to give. It did, and it's the violation that we see here in the VIX-VVIX relationship. Key levels, as I said, the SPXP is moved up, and that's notable. as well as the minus GEX level from 3,600 to 3,800 in the combo complex. Note the expected move today is consistent with where it was yesterday and really all this week. So 2.74 conservative value. So I would be looking to sell outside of these two ranges adjusted for the open. PM settled complex, this is one of the ranges that we were talking about. Here's the other one, transition range here. You can see where we closed yesterday, the 4,100 strike there. We do think this is a longer term target. Depending on news events or whatever the case may be, we may pull down into this area. That would be natural. It would be fine. I would not be worried about the short-term SPXP unless we started dropping below the 4,000, and heading down towards this 3950 level. Looking at the 0 DTE, very well-defined level here at 4045, 4050. It's very clean in terms of the gamma structure. You can see all up and down the chain, all the way up here to 4155. We've got positive deltas. So a call-dominated expiry. When we lose calls in the expiry, excuse me, when we lose calls in the expiry, it has the benefit of, or depends on your side, if you think we're going to head down, it has the benefit of potentially accelerating the downward movement here, because those deltas are coming off and they have to be adjusted by the dealers. And in that particular case, the dealer's response is to put downside pressure on the overall markets. That being said, I don't think we get much lower due to today's action below 4,000, but we'll have to see. We'll just have to see how much gets monetized and how much that puts us down. And of course, any exogenous news events could drive things also. The 1DT, this is our crystal ball looking into Monday. When you do that, you see this 4085, 4095 zone. Again, we've got a very small gamma. We've got negative delta, not large magnitude, of course, but it's a potential hiding place. I want to call it out for you. And then also this range from 39.95 up to 40.50. You can see many areas to hide in here. Just pay attention to that. Also, going into Monday's action, projected right now, the 40.50 is a call-dominated strike, and it is actually the COI, the call open interest dominant expiry for Monday. So when we see that, we see a lot of calls coming out of the complex, and again, that has the importance of possibly raising the negative side of this or the put dominated side of this. So just be aware of that. To the downside, 3,900, we do not see that in play. It's pretty far down the range. We are not thinking we're going there anytime soon. Your crystal ball is as good as ours. Taking a look at the combo complex, here's that same 4140, 4150 zone. Again, I was talking about the deltas and the gammas, and we've got a zero in that area. Another zero exists right here at 4050 to 4060. This is a likely parking spot, also slightly below where we closed yesterday. And then you can see this 3950 to 4020 zone. Lots of areas to hide in here. Would not be at all surprised. But note, very strong deltas in this area, and so we are not seeing the same protection afforded by zones like this. We pay attention to this, and you should too. Taking a look at the overall SPX structure, 3,800 is the new downside line in the sand. 4,100 remains the upside with a fairly dominant level. Look what's happening here, though. This is the 4,200 line. It is growing pretty fast and is ready to take this on. We get any monetization at 41, and 42 becomes the upside target. But remember, we've got this 41.45, which I think is a natural parking area for it. We've seen it in the past. Unless we get a lot of calls stacking onto the 41.45, effectively neutralizing it, I think this is a valid upside target. Now, to the downside, 40.15 remains kind of our line in the sand for the beginning of the transition zone. And of course, the last line in the sand before the wheels come off the wagon will be down here at 39.55. All things said, trade safe, manage your risk. So that's it for today. Urge everyone to come into GammaEdge.us, click on the pricing tab, fill out the blanks. Great Discord, great group of traders, very active. We're working to show you how to apply this stuff to your trading style. Paper trades, actual trades, you do it, you do you. Good education that we're putting out there, at least as far as I'm concerned, and what our users are saying. Follow us on Twitter, GammaEdges with an S, YouTube. If you like today's commentary, Let me know immediately by smashing that like button. That gives me immediate feedback that I'm providing you what you need. And of course, subscribe, because when you subscribe, you get notified when Taylor and I post our videos. We try to do 2 a day and keep you informed about what we're seeing and how to apply it. So with that, I bid you farewell. Make it a great Friday, TGIF. Make it a great weekend. We have an open mic on Sunday. If you're a member, urge everybody to come and join us. Thanks, everyone.